Welcome to Her Money Revolution. I'm your host, Angela Brooks, your guide on this journey to becoming a wealthy woman. As a certified financial planner, owner, and advisor at Family Capital Management, I'm on a mission to simplify the conversation around investing and to help women generate more wealth by making their money work for them. Join me as we navigate powerful financial planning strategies to help you achieve your personal and professional goals. This podcast is your go-to destination for no fluff, easy to implement financial and investing advice. If you are ready to achieve audacious financial goals, dream beyond boundaries, and generate massive wealth for you and your family, this podcast is for you. Grab a notebook. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to Her Money Revolution, the podcast where we empower women to grow their wealth by making their money work for them. I'm your host, Angela Brooks, and today's episode is all about how to stay calm when the market doesn't. If you've ever opened your investment account during a market downturn and immediately felt your stomach drop, this episode is for you. If you've ever wondered whether you should sell everything and wait until things calm down, well, this episode is for you. And if you're tired of the constant headlines telling you the world is ending every 6 months, this episode is definitely for you. Because today, we're talking about fear, uncertainty, and why your greatest investment advantage has very, very little to do with picking the perfect stock and everything to do with mastering your emotions and your behaviors. So I'd like to start with a question. When was the last time that you heard good news on the financial channels? Probably a very long time ago, right? Probably not often. Every day, we are bombarded with headlines like markets plunge, recession fears grow, inflation is back, the Fed might fill in the blank, or trade wars, political uncertainty, global conflict. I could continue to go on. There's a laundry list of things because the news is designed to grab your attention, not give you peace. Fear sells, calm does not. But here's something that I've learned after years of helping families through every kind of market. So guess what? The market has survived every single crisis it has ever faced. The market has survived recession, every war, every election, every pandemic, every banking crisis, every inflation scare, every time. So that tells me that the market isn't the problem. This might surprise you. Most investors don't lose money because they choose bad investments. They lose money because they make emotional decisions. Research from Dalbar has consistently shown that the average investor earns significantly less than the market itself. Not because the investments are bad, but because people tend to buy after prices have already risen and they sell after they've fallen. Think about that. It's exactly what we're not supposed to do, yet we continue to do it. The biggest threat to your portfolio isn't the economy. It's panic. It's you. Because fear tells us to run, but wisdom tells us to pause. You want to think about this. Well, I was thinking about this recently. Imagine you're on an airplane. Suddenly, the plane hits turbulence. Your drink spills, your seatbelt sign comes on. People are looking nervous. You're nervous. Now, let me ask you, does the pilot jump out of the cockpit? Does the pilot decide this would be a great time to change the flight plan because the ride got bumpy? It's turbulence, right? No, of course not. The turbulence doesn't change the destination. The pilot doesn't jump out. He simply or she simply flies through it. Your financial plan should work the same way. Market volatility is turbulence, not failure, right? What history teaches us is that the stock market has never moved in a straight line. There have been countless corrections. There have been many bear markets, multiple recessions, yet over the long run, the market has continued to move higher. Why is that? Because markets reflect
business. Markets reflect businesses, and businesses innovate. People continue to work. Products continue to be created. Life keeps moving forward. That's not optimism. That's history, folks. And history reminds us that temporary declines are simply part of investing, not evidence that investing has stopped working. We saw it firsthand during COVID. I think that's one of the most tangible experiences. Businesses pivoted. Factories started making masks, right? It's history. Warren Buffett said it best, and it's one of my favorite Buffett quotes, and it's, "The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient." And I absolutely love that, because investing isn't a competition to be the smartest person. It's more of a competition to be the calmest person, right? Patience is a financial asset. Here's the other thing. Your brain literally is not designed for investing. And I find it fascinating. Our brains are wired for survival, not for risk-taking or investing. Thousands and thousands of years ago, reacting quickly kept people alive, right? If you saw danger, you ran. You didn't stop to analyze. But today, our brains often respond to market declines that exact same way. Your investment account drops by 15%. Your brain screams, danger, danger, get out, run. But you guys, the market isn't a lion. It's volatility. And those are very different things. One requires running, absolutely. If it's a lion, run, okay? But the other requires perspective. The other thing I want to encourage all of my listeners and all of my clients is that we need to focus on what we can control. There is so much that we cannot control, right? We cannot control what I'm just talking about, the stock market, not everything in life, but we can't control interest rates, inflation, elections, global events, what's going to happen tomorrow in the stock market. We cannot control that. But what we can control is how much you save, your spending habits, your emergency fund, your diversification, your investment strategy, your long-term mindset, whether you decide to panic or whether you decide to stay calm and stay the course. That's what you can control. And successful investors spend very little time worrying about things that they can't control. They spend almost all of their energy on those things that I just said, on the things that they can control. One of the biggest mistakes I see in people is believing they have to do something, right? If the markets fall, people think, I should move everything to cash. Well, okay, yeah, let me get out. I'll get back in later. But here's the problem. No one knows when that later is. And to successfully time the market, you have to be right twice. You have to know exactly when to get out and exactly when to get back in. My business partner and I, we both say this to our clients, like, hey, if you want to get out, it's not my recommendation, but you have to call me to tell me when you want to get back in, because it's a fool's errand. If you're comfortable with that, if you are an expert and you're watching it, then okay, right? But I'm not taking that risk because I don't know when to get back in, no matter how much of an expert I am. Every professional money manager struggles to do that consistently. We might be right a lot, but not every time, and missing just a handful of the market's best days will dramatically reduce long-term returns. We've seen it. There's lots of reports and studies that prove that. And those best days often happen immediately after some of the worst ones. That's why staying invested matters. I believe that your future self is counting on today's decisions. Imagine that you're planting an oak tree. Would you dig it up every time there was a storm? Of course not, right? Storms are part of growing. The same is true for your investments. We invest for decades, not the headlines, not next week, not next month. Your retirement isn't built in the bust years. It's built through staying invested during the difficult ones. And I believe it's important to have faith over fear. Many of you know that my faith shapes how I view money, and scripture reminds us over and over again, do not fear. Not because difficult things won't happen. They do, and they will. But because fear is a terrible decision maker. Peace doesn't come from knowing what the market will do tomorrow. Peace comes from knowing that your plan is built for tomorrow, even if tomorrow is uncertain. And preparation creates confidence, and confidence creates peace. And that's my goal, is to give you peace of mind. So I want to give you an action step for this week. The next time the market has a rough day, don't immediately open your investment account. Don't check the headlines every hour. Instead, take a deep breath and ask yourself these 3 questions. Has my financial goal changed? If not, why should my investment strategy change? Number 2, am I reacting emotionally or responding thoughtfully? There's a difference. Question number 3, what would my future self thank me for doing today? That one question alone can completely change your perspective. Your greatest investment advantage isn't secret information. It isn't predicting recessions. It isn't finding the next hot stock. It's staying disciplined when everyone else is emotional. Because remember, volatility is normal. Fear is contagious, but patience is profitable. The market will always give us reasons to worry. Trust me. Don't let that temporary uncertainty steal your permanent opportunity. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. Until next time, keep investing with purpose, keep building the life that you want, and remember, real wealth isn't created by avoiding uncertainty. It's created by staying faithful to the plan, even when the path feels uncertain. I'll see you next time on Her Money Revolution.
Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you are feeling more empowered in your financial journey. Remember, follow and subscribe to Her Money Revolution on your favorite podcast platform, and share your feedback by leaving a review. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway from today's episode. Until next time, stay inspired.